to Middleboro. In review, I am Joey Driscoll. Today is May 12th, 2024. Today is Mother's Day, so happy Mother's Day to all the mothers listening today or out there. So it is Mother's Day. I want to quickly introduce our co-host, our most reliable co-host, the best co-host on the planet, Don Driscoll.
Thank you, Joey, and happy Mother's Day to everybody, too. And just a quick reminder, everyone's going to be out traveling to go see mom, grandma, or whatnot. So just be careful driving. Remember the move over law. It's very important. State police and EMT and also the service directors and the tow trucks are out there trying to take care of what needs to be taken care of. The move over law is very important. There's going to be a lot of traffic on there, and watch out for motorcycles too. I didn't really talk about it late, but I just wanted to get this off my chest. Everyone's going to be on the road. Everyone's going to be on the road today, going to visit mom, and having dinner or lunch or whatever you guys do on Mother's Day. Whatever traditions people have is great, but you just got to be careful because you want. There's my mums out there who work for the state police and work for the fire and the EMTs, and you want them to go home to their families and even fathers who go home to mom and go see their mom later on. And, it's all about mom today, so make sure everyone gets to see mom safely. And
it is.
Yeah, that's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
I want to welcome our guest here today. He is Middleboro School Committee member Ezekiel Lewis. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
No problem. And before we get to our interview with Ezekiel today, Ezekiel, you're welcome to jump in here with Today in Histories as well. We're going to do our weather and our Today in Histories, two things we do. We usually try to do at the beginning of the show because we were doing it at the end of the show and we were finding that we were running out of time and kind of rushing things.
You know what? But you could be the speed talker in those commercials. You could be lined up for a speed talker for some sort of looking at the fine print speed talker guy because when you were back was against it and you were running out of time, you did pretty good.
But it makes more sense to me to do it here at the beginning.
Well, I think the way we've been doing it with our guests, because now our guests can talk about it.
Exactly.
And it's just not a rush through. It's dialogue with the guest or with you and I. So.
All right. So our weather for today, we're going to start with our Driscolls today. Driscoll, North Dakota, 53 degrees. It's going to be a very warm 71 degrees with a 41 degrees low tonight. Tomorrow, 71 degrees and a low of 48. Both days, Sunday and Monday, are supposed to be very nice. Tuesday and Wednesday, rain in the forecast and in the upper 60s on Tuesday, lower 60s on Wednesday. Driscoll, Texas, 70 to 76 degrees right now. So that's a pretty telltale sign that today is going to be very warm. It is. Cloudy skies today, 93 degrees with a low of 76. 96 tomorrow, and mostly sunny skies in Driscoll, Texas. In Taunton, and this is where we broadcast here on WVBF, and
as Barry would say, we are
center of the universe. Yeah.
29th century.
The 23rd century.
Huh?
The 23rd century.
Oh, is he still saying that?
Yeah.
Did he say that Saturday?
I believe he did.
And did he give you that great introduction?
He always does.
Oh, he's awesome. Oh, I love when he does that.
He always does. 42 degrees here in Taunton today, right now. Cloudy skies, a high of 60. 69 tomorrow with a low of 51. Mostly sunny skies. And in Middleboro, 44 degrees, mostly sunny skies right now. Cloudy skies today, high of 60, low of 44. And tomorrow, 69 degrees with a low of 50 and mostly sunny skies. So a beautiful, no rain. It's going to be a little cloudy, but no rain. Should be a pretty nice day today. Our Today in Histories. 1933, President Roosevelt signs legislation creating the Federal Emergency Relief Administration, which was the predecessor to the Federal Emergency Management Agency, FEMA. In 2002, former U.S. President Jimmy Carter arrives in Cuba for a 5-day visit. with Fidel Castro. He became the first president of the United States in or out of office to visit since the Cuban Revolution, which that's pretty big.
Now, did Barack Obama go in when he was in office, I
I
believe?
believe so.
He was the city president.
Yes.
Oh,
I believe he did. I think that was 2014.
yeah, I think so. I think he was the first president, as a president, to go there, and then Jimmy Carter was the former president.
Our birthdays today: 1850, Henry Cabot Lodge, American historian and politician. 1889, Otto Frank, German-Swiss businessman and Holocaust survivor, the father of diarist Anne Frank. 1918, Mary Kay Ash, American businesswoman. She founded Mary Kay Cosmetics. 1937, Don, you're going to like this one. George Carlin's birthday is today.
Oh, I love that guy. I just do. He's just... Imagine if he was alive today and he was doing stand-up, seeing everything going on.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
A birthday that I really like. 1962, Emilio Estevez, American actor. He's been in some really great movies. Breakfast Club. A movie that doesn't get a lot of attention. Actually, it gets a lot of hate from a lot of horror fans. Is Maximum Overdrive.
I like that movie.
I don't understand the hate. I really don't. It's a really good film. Emilio Estevez does a very good job in it.
I thought it was all right. It was pretty good.
I don't understand the hate. Even Stephen King says that is one of his worst films. I don't understand why.
I don't understand Stephen King sometimes.
I don't understand.
Whatever. You know?
Um,
Christine was like one of his best.
yes,
Absolutely.
absolutely. Yes. 1980, the most recent Bond villain. That's actually no. That's coming up. That's the next one. I apologize. It's not this one. 1980, Rishi Sunak, American politician, the current English Prime Minister. For now. There's apparently a big election coming up, and apparently Labour might win the election.
Yeah, it's funny how their system works because they had another one who lasted 3 months.
Yeah.
It's
yeah.
just...
Yeah. 1981. Now we're getting to the Bond villain. 1981, Remy Malek, American actor. Very good. I've seen some clips of his appearance in the new Bond film. He's pretty good, for sure. He played...
the last one?
The last one, the most recent.
Remy Malek's the one that played the Pharaoh in Night at the Museum, right? That was the first time I ever saw.
I believe he did.
I think that's the first time I ever
Is
saw.
that the one with Ben Stiller?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. And Dick Van Dyke turns out to be the villain.
Oh, yeah.
And he played Freddie Mercury as well. Did a very good job in that. Passings on this day in 2000, Adam Petty, American race car driver, he passed away in a plane crash on this day in 2000, I believe. I believe it was a plane crash. Let me double check that. Make sure that was actually... No, that wasn't. That was somebody else. He passed away in a practice session. So, yeah. That was our birthdays, our passings, and our Today in History for today. We're going to take our commercial break right now. When we come back, we are going to have our interview with Ezekiel Lewis today. So we're going to have him on in just a moment. We're going to take our commercial break while I get some coffee, because I'm half awake right now. I will admit that. I am half awake, so I'm going to take a commercial break, get some coffee, get some sugar, get some caffeine in me, and Dawn can do the same, and we'll be pumped up for this next segment
You
here.
seem pumped up anyway.
I'm a little off.
A little fuzzy?
I'm a little off here in this segment.
Fuzzy
I could
Wuzzy
tell.
was a bear.
I could
Fuzzy
tell.
Wuzzy had no hair. Yeah.
I could tell that I was a little off in this segment.
Yeah.
We're gonna right the ship, and we're gonna come back.
I thought you were fine.
I said, I could tell.
I'd be the first one to tell you.
Yes, you would be the first one to tell me. Exactly. All right, so we're gonna take our commercial break here. And we're going to have our interview with Ezekiel Lewis coming up in just a moment. Open phone lines as well, 508-822-1106 if you want to call and ask Ezekiel Lewis some questions as well. We'll be right back here on Middleboro Review on WBBF 1530 AM 99.7 FM. Coffee, yes. Need it.
His was closer to the edge.
Mine I put directly on the edge.
Huh?
I said mine I put directly on the edge in the corner.
So you want to pass me by? Pass him over. Bring him over.
I'm gonna have to cut them over. I don't know
Yeah.
which one's which.
Yeah, that's.
This is yours, I think?
Yeah, in the large one.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
He's hiding from the camera, so.
Exactly.
Combat Veteran
All right.
Motorcycle Association
I'm pumped.
is
I'm
an
ready.
association of combat
All right.
veterans from all branches of the United States
Good morning, everybody.
who ride motorcycles.
I keep forgetting that thing's on for the commercials.
Oh yeah.
So when you have your
Whatever.
comments, you know what I mean?
I'll have to go back and like
Provide a warm meal.
edit like every single show.
Yeah.
Eventually.
Yeah, no, yeah.
Because eventually we're gonna have these shows.
From nearly
I think eventually we're gonna have these shows on the new website as like kind of like a podcasting thing.
Nice.
There's an option for the new website where there's podcasting. So I'm not sure if that's gonna be the case.
Yeah.
But
It's tough to do handling both audio and visual. Difficult.
Well, sometimes he could set up the gear. I mean, we was hoping you could get some gear and some real films and stuff like that, and some better sound, and then he can put that on YouTube or whatever because he has it.
Are you recording the
No,
audio?
no,
this is just straight. This is just direct to the.
Yeah,
it's
it's
just
just
direct to
direct, yeah,
everything. So
The only things being recorded is the Facebook live.
Sparkly Auto Body, located in
and it'll go on to YouTube.
Milwaukee,
Yeah.
Massachusetts, offers the highest quality collision repair and complete auto service for your car.
I just usually use my phone because it's the best. It's the best audio.
Yeah, it's, you know what? It's
It's
not,
the best audio. It's the best quality.
Right, but you get the better sound for the radio station. I mean, obviously.
No, yeah, you definitely do.
Monday
You're right.
through Thursday.
We're not sure how many people listen.
8 to 4
We think
on Fridays.
between
Could be thousands.
thousands.
Honestly, it should be. Yeah.
508.
How many people call in the morning? Because it's too early to call.
Right.
You know what I mean? If
Well,
you-
that's a blessing for me. You know.
On a good
you
day,
might get a call.
on a good day, I can hear this single in Weymouth. So
Yeah. And but most people listen on the, with their devices too.
Right.
You know, they don't listen to
No
the
one's
radio.
listening in their car. Yeah.
Yeah, well, some people do. We had a guy call and says, I listen to you every time I drive through here. Because we were saying, don't listen. That's not true. I love your show. And every time I drive through here all the time, and I listen to you guys for about 20 minutes.
That's great.
You know, I said, something I look forward to. Some guy come out of nowhere.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, that's an idea.
No, it's
So you don't know
very
because our show's so unique.
Yeah.
Because we're the only father and son team this side of Mississippi.
It's an
Right.
association of combat veterans from
You ever heard of Chachi LaPrette?
What's that?
Chachi LaPrette? He's breakfast with the Beatles. He's on Seacoast Oldies. He was on the old WBCN years ago and stuff like that. He's good friends with us for the show. He comes on and he has something going on at Lorenzo's in June. It's the Beatles.
I think it's 1 month from now.
Yeah, it's a Beatles night.
Nice.
You should try to make it.
Yeah. If you want to text me those details.
I will. I'm going to do that. I'll do that as soon as.
Yeah.
sponsor and or participate in many
Whatever.
I'll
motorcycle-related
just text
charity
you.
events each year.
Yeah.
And as a non-profit organization,
Eric's been on too.
Eric does?
Yeah.
Actually, he's coming on next week.
Nice.
I'm gonna preview that in a minute. I'm gonna do like a very, very quick sports segment, like 2 minutes, and then I'm gonna preview next week. And then we're gonna get to.
No worries.
If we have time, Don, I'd like to do a music recommendation.
On what?
That song from this morning. I'd like to do that.
Which song?
I know the song. You played this morning?
Oh, alright. I'd rather
You know the song.
No, yeah, we did Deep Purple last week, so
Not Deep Purple. No. Black Country Union?
I'll do the 3 songs.
Yeah. Do the 3 songs. Yeah. We'll do that. We'll get
I'll give you my phone.
We have time. Okay, here we go. Alright, good. 3, 2, 1, 0. And we are back here on Middleboro in review. We're all caffeinated up and ready to roll here for our
Speaking of
show
coffee,
here.
we got coffee with Tony during the week.
Yes, that's a good segue, Don. Thank
Oh,
you. Coffee with Tony
Tony
is on
Tony Lopes.
Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Fridays.
Tony Lopes in the house. I love it. I love it. I love it.
Yes, so Tuesdays is on for 3 hours from 9 to 12. Very good 3-hour show there. And then on Wednesdays he's on from 9 to 11. And on Fridays he is on from 9 to 11 as well. We have a great sports show that comes on after Tony on Fridays with Dominic Damiano called On the Sidelines, which just debuted this past Friday. Very good show with some great people involved.
I thought Dominic and yourself did great together when you were on the radio back and forth. You guys feed off each other.
Mm-hmm.
It was great listening to it. And when you had the third person, Susan.
Yes,
I
so
just
when
make-
we did the hometown talk, yeah.
I just think that's great. I just think three people. You know what I mean? The two female, one male, or two male, one female. It just makes it. It's just I don't know. It's, people like listening to it.
Okay, real quick, we're going to do like 90 seconds, sports segment real quick. The bulk of the sports I'm going to do next week with my guest. I'm going to preview this real quick. The Middleboro Review show for next week, May 19th, 2024, will feature me and Eric Dunn once again, and we'll be talking about all things sports. Don will be away. Don will be in sunny Florida, and I am very jealous right now.
I gotta go see Sissy.
Yeah, so he's going to be
I have to go see
visiting family,
I gotta.
and I bet the weather is going to be beautiful in
It's
Florida.
probably gonna be too hot. It's probably gonna be beautiful here, and it's gonna be a sauna down there probably.
Maybe, yes. Tony mentioned to me that it was. He mentioned on the air that the weather was a little weird for Florida at the beginning of the year, but usually the weather is pretty nice in Florida. But anyway, moving on from that, quick sports thing. Want to mention that the Patriots schedule, I believe, is going to be released this week. I heard the 14th of May, the NFL schedule being released at 8 p.m. That's usually a big spectacle, which I don't know why. Honestly, in my opinion, I think they should just announce it and be done with it instead of just having this big spectacle. I guess it's a way to get
So you spend
money.
So you spending 90 seconds on this segment. Is that what you're telling us?
Money for the
Yeah.
sports network. Anyway,
Yeah.
whatever. Moving on
Yeah.
from that. And Celtics, Bruins. Celtics did a good job last night winning Game 3, so that's a good thing. Bruins, I'm not so enthused about the Bruins, but whatever. We'll see what happens. Moving on. All right, we're going to get to our guests now. Again, I want to say good morning once again to Ezekiel Lewis. Good morning, Ezekiel.
Good morning. Thank you for having me again. I appreciate it.
I want to first ask, how did you get interested in running for school committee?
Yes, so it's been 4 years ago by this point. It was, I think, we were just kind of coming out of quarantine, and January 6th happened at the Capitol. And I was watching the TV, thinking to myself, I'm waiting for someone else to get involved. And then I realized, other people are also waiting for someone else to get involved because they don't want to do it. Most people don't have an inclination for politics, and for good reason. And so I thought to myself, I think I could be that person. And I looked around, I didn't really know where to start. So I went, I was like, well, if I were to start a grassroots, I would start here in Middleboro. So I looked on Middleboro's homepage, and I looked at all the positions that were open, and I saw Select Board was open. I went, first time around Select Board, probably not the greatest thing for Middleboro. So I looked further down, and then it was school committee. I went, I just graduated from Middleboro High School. I know all of the teachers there. Most of the, like Paul Brannigan, there are still, teachers there from when we were kids growing up throughout there, which is amazing. And, I still knew friends, family members that were still coming through the system. And I decided to run for that, and people had reached out to me. Former chairman Rich Young had reached out to me. Rich Oakley, at the time, who was the vice chairman, reached out to me, and it was great, and had a successful campaign, and won the election. And I just recently won re-election.
So one thing I want to ask is, what are some of the things during your first term that you accomplished, and what are some of the things in the second term that you want to accomplish now that you have been reelected?
Yeah. So the first term that I had, I mainly focused on learning what the position was about in my first year. Second year, I kind of got a little bit more involved. I became vice chairman, and I got reelected as vice chairman. Now I'm vice chairman again this year. I really wanted to get involved in the budget, and because I've been on the budget subcommittee for 2 years. I don't know if I'm on the committee this year, but for the past 2 years I was. And learning how the budget works and how it, I don't want to say manipulates. What's the correct word I'm looking for here? Changes how the district functions is really powerful stuff. And last year we were able to create a budget that actually opened a position up for sort of an in-house special needs like psychologist, which was great. It's amazing, and I thought that was really awesome. And in addition, we also opened up another position for an SRO, which is again another in-house officer position. We had one in Middleboro High School when we were going there together.
Yeah, I believe it was Officer Trask.
Officer Trask, that's what it was. Great guy. I always remember seeing him around, and he did a lot of great work for the community. And we wanted to open that up, another position, because we had two, but we felt that it really wasn't enough, especially given everything that's going on. So we opened up another position for that. And those were the two big things that I really thought that were great.
Just a thought here. You're talking in-house, and I've always talked about how, citywide, townwide, whatever, in-house always works the best.
Mm-hmm.
I really think in-house, the students better. Like you said, your age. I mean, you were 2 years out of high school when you ran, right?
Yeah, 2 or 3 years. Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. You were just there. You knew the school. So I think as far as I could tell, I mean, it's just it better than most people because you just went through the system. You know teachers. You know how everything works and stuff like that. And I think having someone just coming out of high school is a great asset to the school committee, in my opinion. And like you mentioned, in-house, it's just like the students, the layout. It's just once people come out. Subcontractors, not knocking subcontractors. Subcontractors, a lot of them do a good job, but in-house, you just know it better.
Well, yeah, you have an integral feel. You've been,
right.
I was part of the district. Joey and I were part of the district together for our entire lives up until that point when,
right.
When we graduated, and then going into college, right? So, and even when I was in college, I was only in Bridgewater, so I'm still living in Middleboro.
I'm sitting next to a success story because the class of 2017, school committee member.
Mm-hmm.
Joey, pretty much runs this place almost. He has a couple of shows. He's been in the radio business since 2017, and I just think that year is outstanding. A lot of people who graduated that year are just on the ball, doing good. It's just, and I'm knocking other people too. I don't do that. I don't sit here and knock people, but I just stands, you gotta shine, something really shines, you have to acknowledge it.
Yes.
You
I
have to
agree.
acknowledge it. And you were, what, 20, you said?
So hold on. So what was it? 2020. I'm always 1 year older than the year. So 2020, I was 21.
So you're in the history books as the youngest, right? The first youngest.
The first youngest.
The first youngest.
Yeah,
First
yeah,
youngest
yeah,
school committee member to be elected.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I mean, I know that's been broken.
Yeah, it has been broken. It was actually just
But
recently
you
broken.
were the first.
Well, yeah.
So you're technically going to be in the history book. So 300 years from now, you're going to be in the history book. I mean, that's something to be proud of.
Yes.
I mean, you are going to be in print.
Well, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for saying that.
So another thing I want to ask is, it is May, which May is a huge month when it comes to the high school. Seniors are graduating very, very soon. I think finals are probably this week or next week. With the school committee, how does the school committee factor in when it comes to graduation and all those events surrounding graduation?
Well, so I learned very quickly that school committee's biggest obligation when it comes to the students is making sure that their policies are set in place, that the budget is as best as it can be, and making sure that the superintendent is doing the best job that they can. I try not to I do not interfere at all with anything that goes on in the high school level, or I'm able to ask questions. I think asking questions is the best way to see how things are going.
Yep.
But Paul Pernick, and he does a fantastic job
Oh,
with the high school students there.
He's the best.
He is really one of the best
Yep.
administrators out there. And when it comes to graduation, we are invited to attend to hand out the diplomas.
Yes.
But up until recently, because this year will be the first, because theoretically, it's 4 years now. So the freshmen, when I came aboard, are now seniors and they're graduating. So I have a sort of connection with them, but it's not a personal one. And so I always feel weird handing out the diplomas because I contributed to this person's life in a way that that's not extremely tangible, right? I'm not one of the teachers that gave them an education. I'm not the administrator that they would go to talk to, like a guidance counselor. I'm not a principal who sorted out if there was a dispute amongst students, or a student with parents, student with teacher. My role has been to make sure that our district goals are being met and being achieved. Very same with the superintendent.
Which is really important.
It is.
Absolutely.
I mean,
Absolutely.
you put your faith in the axle, not the wheel.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? You guys are the axle. I mean, your job is so important. And like I said, it's just not a day-to-day thing or whatnot, but I mean, it's just, you're the nuts and bolts of the whole thing. I mean, without you guys, it all falls apart. In my opinion, you have to have a committee.
There has to be a committee.
There has to be a committee to make things run.
And I don't want to get too much into it, but there are people out there who really, really want to change things to make it look like their vision of their cultural perspectives, when we need to be making sure
Well,
that
I mean, I think people read into stuff too much. You know what I mean? You got elected. You got to serve for 3 years. If they don't like you, they won't elect you.
yeah, exactly.
Simple as that.
Mhm.
Okay. Voted on a Saturday. We went to the Council on Aging. That's where we vote.
Yes.
Vote for you.
Oh, thank you.
So, but the vote was such a small turnout.
Very
yeah.
small.
You know what I
Very
mean?
small.
Not to change gears here,
No,
but
absolutely.
what do you think? And this is like an overall general question. It's not nothing you can do through the school committee or whatever. But what do you think you'd suggest to the town as far as bringing up voting roles? People coming up. We had we had Thomas White, the one of the Board of Selectmen. He called in a few, what was he, about a month ago?
Couple of weeks.
And I was asking him. I was just like, it was such a small turnout. I mean, I'm not sure what your numbers were, how many you won, but it was such a small turnout, and you could have won by Joey and I's vote. It was so,
It was very slim.
It was
Very slim. Yeah.
we could have been the deciding. Joey and I could have been the deciding factor. You getting in or somebody else?
Yeah.
That we voted for. So, what do you think? You think Saturday's a good time? Tuesday? Should they have more than one day voting? What do you think? What's your opinion?
I don't know if multiple days of voting would really work. I think a single day is fine. Definitely mail in and mail in ballots. I think, and there's another option that I'm just not
Early
voting,
voting. Yeah.
But there was one last year. I couldn't make it to the poll. I couldn't make it to the ballot box. So I went into the town hall annex.
Yep.
And I went in and said, hey, I'm not going to be available. And they brought me to a small room, and they're like, here you go, here's your little thing. You could do that in person early ballot.
But it seems like people, it's presidential elections, midterms, yeah. But town elections, people don't know.
No, I think,
and I think the town has an obligation to put signage up and let everyone know that it's voting time. I mean, kind of in your face kind of thing, because
I do think that would help remind people. But it's not there are two parts to this, I think. One is trying to capture people's votes, like the younger generation, Generation Z, and the millennials vote. I think the millennials are just starting to pay attention, but really it's crunch time for Generation Z to step up to the plate.
Are you guys considered Z?
Yes, we are considered Z
Okay.
by 1 year, I believe. I think actually Generation Z is defined by if you can or cannot remember the attack on 9/11. I think that's the defining factor. Was that cut off?
I was 2.
We were two or three, depending on where you fell. And that's not, so we're technically considered Generation Z, yeah. Now, where was I? There's two parts to this. So one is trying to capture Generation Z, the younger voters, and two, more importantly, is people, I think, feel that the systems are failing them. And I also believe that people don't pay enough attention to town elections. I think what happens is big news stations can only cover, state and federal level elections. They can't focus on individual towns, which really does not help the situation in trying to get the word out for small town elections, because that's where the work gets done.
That is the most important
Yeah.
in my life, is what happens in my town. Should be your town, should be your state, should be federal.
Yeah.
In that order.
Yeah.
All right. So I want to know who's on my school committee. I want to know Board of Selectmen, because I mean, if I go in front of the select board, I want results. So I want good people.
And what's good about this is that one of them could be your neighbor. Like, well, you can go, you can call that person and you'd be like, hey, and have it. You can call the Milanos. You can have a sit-down conversation with them at Milanos. You're not going to be able to get that with a state or federal level, politician.
Right.
But local politicians, who are there to actually listen. They're townies just like you.
Right.
And
it's a volunteer situation.
Exactly. Exactly.
You're doing this because you want to do it. It's not like you're in a faction.
Yeah. No, they're not getting. We're not getting paid.
Right.
I think select board gets a stipend.
Okay.
But school committee doesn't get a stipend. We just partially expanded the budget so that we could attend conferences, so we could learn how to be a better committee and work together more cohesively.
Right.
But other than that, that's it. That's all. We don't get anything. We really don't get anything.
No. That's cheap. But I mean, that's what makes it more admirable, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Because you're doing it. You're not doing it for a paycheck. I mean, there's got to be. There's you're looking for the better good of the community. You're there because you want the community to be better. So I mean, in my way, that makes the person a good individual, in my opinion. It's not selfless in a way, and not painting a broad picture on everybody, but I mean, you are volunteering your time. That is huge. Time is something that people do not have much of.
Right.
And to throw that into the fray and
I think what you just said there is people don't have time. I think that's one of the biggest things for voting. I think people aren't paying attention because they're just too busy working. They're so focused on themselves.
Think signage. I just think they've been in the neon sign back in the 30s for a reason. It brings people in, okay? Signage. People need to be reminded. I mean, they want to do it, but they just forget. I forgot because of this, that, and the other thing. I mean, they put banners. They put the Christmas stuff. There's no reason why the town can't put banners everywhere. Just reminding you, just in your face.
Yeah.
I mean,
a lot of other towns do it.
What for voting?
For anything.
No, I've never seen it for voting. I'm
not talking about voting for anything.
Yeah.
For anything.
For
anything.
You gotta do the Guy Smiley approach. You know who Guy Smiley is, right? You don't know the guy. No, you gotta look him up. He's awesome. Guy Smiley. He's the guy. He's a Sesame Street character. He's like a news reporter, and he's always smiling. He's got it in your face, but he gets the point across.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
It's getting the point across to the citizens. Yeah, we got to vote. I mean, it's just, imagine if you had a real, imagine if a lot of people didn't show up and say 5 people didn't show up. It's just like because you got to vote with, we have you for 3 years. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's just like, that's good that you won, but the guy didn't want you to win. She came and voted against you. I mean, and vice versa.
I think banners are definitely going to be a good thing.
I think there's got to be a better way. I think the conversation should be started anyway. Get the conversation started, hash it out, figure it out. Get that Rubik's Cube thing going, and try to get.
To talk about it in this setting as well, on the radio or locally in media.
There's one thing.
Talk about it in that.
There's one thing I'm proud about. You had last year you had board of select board people. You had last year with the election.
Yes.
You had 6 people on.
I did,
okay, and you gave everyone exact amount of time.
Exactly.
Okay, he asked the exact same questions.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't try to corner anybody or
change
ask one
anything.
question harder question than the other guy. And I thought that
Same
was
questions.
really good that he did that because no one got cornered.
Right.
Because you can go in here and, if I got to axe the ground with you, I'm going to ask you all sorts of hard questions.
Well, yeah, exactly.
And you're going to be ready for it,
Exactly.
But
exactly.
I mean, why would you do that? Why would you come and do that? So I like the idea that you ask the same questions.
Yeah, like one of the questions I asked is about Middleboro. Like, what would you say to someone new coming into Middleboro? About the town of Middleboro, whether it be a school committee member, I asked this question, or a select board member, I asked this question.
Right.
That's an important thing to
Yeah.
ask.
It's important, but I think things should be fair across the board because that's the only way to roll. You don't corner somebody, but you know what? In a way, if you corner somebody and they come out fighting better than ever, you kind of figure out. But I still don't like to be boozle people. You know what I mean? That's just my opinion. It's just it's not fair.
All right, we're gonna take our last commercial break right now. When we come back, I'm going to ask. Don's gonna ask one more question. I'm gonna ask one more question, and then we're gonna ask how people can get a hold of you as well. And then we have time. We're gonna do a musical recommendation. You, Don.
I don't know that song enough. Don't put me in
The other songs.
No.
Then do something else. We're gonna do a musical recommendation.
We'll talk to.
We're gonna do it. We're gonna do it because
You said so.
I say so.
All right.
I'm the host, and we haven't done one in a while.
We did one last week. All last week was music. That's all we talked about
You know
last
what? We're
week.
gonna do it again.
Okay. Alright.
Because again, I say so. But we're gonna.
I'm the one in charge.
And we're gonna get Ezekiel involved too.
Yeah.
So
Get him involved.
when we come back, we'll have all that here on Middleboro Ring Review on 1530 AM 99.7 FM. When we come back.
You're all right interviewing. You're doing good.
Oh, thank you very much.
Yeah, you're doing good.
Because I say so.
Just don't look. You don't have to look for the big words. Whatever
Right.
comes to your mind.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's-
Exactly. Well, I wasn't trying to find big words.
No,
I
no,
was
it's
just
just-
like,
it's, you
no,
know.
it was nice. You guys do a very good job of making a nice, cordial atmosphere that's not even cordial, just family friendly. Like a very,
That's
like
what
like
people
very
want.
easy.
Yeah.
That's
Makes
what
it easy to talk to you.
7 in the morning. I mean, people are getting beat up by listening to Fox News, CNN, CNBC, whatever your
Yeah,
flavor
no one
is.
wants to listen to
politics.
an argument. It's all like it was
7 in the morning.
argument.
No, you want to make it family friendly.
Yeah,
It's the only way to roll. You know what I mean? I mean, because I watch these interviews, and they're nasty to each other. You know what I mean? It's just like,
exactly. No, that everyone's so
if
combative.
you don't like this guy because he's this or that, the other thing, that's fine. He's still a human being, though. Come on, you know what I mean? He isn't a demon.
Well, what I was gonna say to your comment, is when you corner people like that, they get really defensive, and then that becomes, and then they're on the attack.
Right.
That flight or fight response.
Right.
They can't flee, but they're
If
certainly
you're a
gonna
smart
fight.
interview, you do the Jedi mind trick.
Right.
You know the Jedi mind trick.
No.
Ever heard the Jedi mind trick?
No, not for host interviews.
No, I just come up with these quirky little sayings.
No, the
Jedi
Jedi
mind-
mind trick, that's Star Wars.
It's a Star Wars.
Oh no, I've heard. Yeah, I've heard of. Yeah,
you know,
Star-
these
Star-
aren't the droids you're looking for.
Right.
You know, move along. Sometimes, if you could do that, and the person doesn't know what you're talking about, you know what I mean? Not saying I do that, but I mean you can do that. You know what I mean? If you're smart enough.
You guys wouldn't happen to have tissues around, would you?
They would probably be in the bathroom.
All right, I'm gonna do that real quick. Sorry.
Yeah, no problem. We got plenty of commercials here.
Where is the bathroom?
Well, now I'll just show you one second.
That's all the way down the
It's
hall.
all
to
the
the
way
left.
down. It's going to be a closed door with a sign on it.
Oftentimes, the wheelchairs our veterans and first responders receive from their healthcare providers are subpar at best. Some are falling apart with a years-long waiting list for a new one. This lag causes a tremendous amount of stress for our heroes and creates a burden for their caregivers. Isolation leads to depression. We build what they need to get outdoors, hunting.
I actually stepped out and I saw that the kitchen has some different shelves.
Mission Food Pantry helps people with food insecurities from the hardships of life. In a few short years, they have given more than 4,000 bags of groceries to those in need. For guests with limited transportation options, they are open every Saturday morning from 9:30 to 11:30 at the north door of the First Parish Church, 76 Church Green, and are available to anyone, no questions asked. The demand increases every week. With the looming reduction in SNAP benefits, the need is growing. Please consider a donation of unexpired
Is Mark back from
non-perishable
Portugal?
food items,
Mark is, he should be back from
cards,
Portugal.
or a monetary donation via check to the Matthew Mission Food Pantry, 76 Church Green, Taunton, or by Venmo at Matthew Mission Food Pantry. The Matthew Mission Inc. is a registered 501c3 organization. Thank you.
3, 2, 1, 0. And we're back. They turned down the bumper music. The bumper music. Yep. Real quick, before we get back to our interview, real quick, I want to do blood drives because I always do blood drives. I always talk about them on Sunday, whether it be Sunday or whether it be the Thursday show. I always talk about blood drives. Blood drives are extremely important. If you can give blood, definitely do so. We're at a point where we have a national blood supply shortage, according to the Red Cross. So anybody that can help definitely would help that situation greatly. And anyone who may have been exposed to or in areas where mad cow disease was an issue. This was back very long time ago.
Great Britain.
Yes. There's also changing guidelines.
Which have been in effect for a little bit.
Yeah, those have been in effect since October of 2022, I believe.
Yeah.
But I want
So
to
if you
sure
feel
to
you
keep
can't do
mentioning
it,
that too.
look into it. If you've been
Absolutely.
turned down before, there's new guidelines, so
Absolutely.
absolutely look into it if you want to.
All right, blood drives for May of 2024. We have one on Thursday, the 16th of May, at the Rosebrook Event Center, Rosebrook Place number 1 in Wareham, Massachusetts, 1 p.m. to 5:45 p.m. We have one on Friday, May 17th at the Wareham Council on Aging, which is on 48 Marion Road in Wareham, 12 p.m. to 5 p.m. And we have one at the Raynham Lions Club, Saturday, May 18th, 2234 King Philip Street in Raynham, 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. for that blood drive. So that is blood drives for today. Again, I'll be mentioning those again this Thursday. So stay tuned for that. Don, I'm going to give you the last question.
Okay. As far as the school committee concerned, as budget and stuff like that, what new projects or new equipment or anything that might be coming your way you're trying to fit into the budget? Is there something that's new's popping up? I know one thing which I'll say real quick is Joey went to TV production, and what was the teacher's name? Mr.
Adam Pelletier.
Adam Pelletier was awesome. He's man, love him, right?
Yeah.
And is he looking for more equipment? What's the breakdown on all everything?
Yeah,
all the stuff.
On all the stuff. So, I think the biggest thing right now do you know what the ESSER funds are at all? Are you paying attention? So the ESSER funds came about during COVID, and they were state funding.
Yeah.
There was ESSER 1, ESSER 2, and ESSER 3. Now, whatever you believe on COVID, the fact is those funds are going away. They have to be used by a certain date.
Right.
And because they were going away, because they were there, a lot of schools opened them up for part-time positions or full-time positions that they needed just to carry things over. Right? The funds were used. The big question is, how do you manage a budget when you're millions of dollars over budget, and you need to cut that funding because it's not there anymore, right? That those extra few $1 million just aren't there anymore. Now, where I'm getting with this is because the ESSER funding was going away, we knew that this was our last chance to use it. So I want to say the majority of that money was used to the last bit of it that we haven't used. That has been used to purchase new computers for, I believe it's 3rd through 8th. Because now every kid has their own personal laptop.
It's funny too, because when I look at you guys, I think high school, but your school committee for all schools, kindergarten, so I mean, you got Nichols, you got
Early in the elementary.
you got Mary Good,
HBB, Mac,
you know what I'm saying? So, that's a point. But I mean, as long as you're looking at the big picture, it's the budget. So I mean, the last bit of money, go get yourself some stuff.
Yeah, and we made sure to use that money on something that wasn't a position, right? Because you would have to, like next year, we either have to keep that position or fire that person, right? So we made sure not to use any of that money to fund positions. We wanted to use it on one-time purchases that we knew would last a while.
Well, if you know you can run the ship with the personnel you have,
exactly.
I mean, it just brings disappointment. I mean, you bring someone in and people are used to having this extra, and then he takes away. I think to deal with it, not having it, and dealing with the situation is better than having extra and then pulling it away later because because you figured out how to run it without the manpower. But the stuff is the extra computers, the what Adam Pelletier needs for his program, the gym, everything across the board for the whole system. It's real important. So I mean, it's good to know that they're doing that. And like I said, in-house. You said in-house, and it got me going because I'm an in-house guy, right?
Yeah.
Middleboro's in-house.
Yeah.
All right. From their they have the power company, which is in-house. A lot of this stuff is in-house. Everything, a lot of it is in-house. And I always find municipalities run better than going through the bigger, like, not knocking the big electric companies, but
No, but what makes Middleboro very special is that we have our own municipal for
when's the last time you lost power? I can't remember last time.
Right,
I lost
exactly.
Power.
No,
It happen often.
Right.
it doesn't, and when it does, it's very quick. Might not be as fast as you want it to be, but comparatively,
We had that
So
big
bad.
windstorm in 2018 where like half the South Shore was out for 2 weeks. We lost our power for 4 hours. Okay?
Yeah.
It seems like Pembroke is the redheaded stepchild of power outage for some reason.
And you know what?
With I think it's National Grid or whatnot, but
Yeah.
you can't blame them because they're just too big.
yeah.
They have too much. At least Middleboro has
So
a
when you have your own in-house,
in-house.
it
we
works.
also help other communities, which is a great thing. We also help other communities.
Yeah.
Other communities help us. I've seen trucks from I think I've seen trucks from Montreal.
Well, that's
Down here.
yeah, but I mean that's them being smart, getting on the
Yes.
horn, saying, "Hey,
Yeah.
we need you. Come, bring your guys down." Being on the horn, and then there's been a couple storms, and I've seen them down in Halifax at the Walmart parking lot a few years ago.
Mhm.
It was a dud. It wasn't really that big of a storm, but they were there just in case. They were just hanging out, whatever. But they're smart.
Yes.
They get on the horn.
Absolutely.
Get them on the horn. Get them down here.
So Ezekiel, how can people get a hold of you?
So you can contact me via my school email, which is funny to say because we used to have a school email, but it's elewis at middleboro.k12.ma.us.
All right, that sounds good. We have 1 minute.
Okay.
Real quick, Don, what is one album that people should go and listen to? That's a musical recommendation. One album.
One album.
One album.
One whole album.
One album, yeah.
I can't think of it. Can you think of one?
Yes. Glenn Hughes, Resonate. His most recent solo album. It's very good. It's a mixture of hard rock, some groovy stuff as well. He really started out as like a funk kind of solo artist. He was really good in that genre. But his most recent solo album is very fantastic. How about you, Ezekiel? What is one album that people should go and listen to?
Yeah, so I believe her album is called Bewitched, but Leve, if you've ever heard of Leve, she is a new composer. She's a new sort of a jazz musician, and she's just fantastic. She has some amazing music. Her voice is just great. It's not anything, not anything classical like you were just talking about, but I'm totally into jazz, and I think it doesn't get enough attention. So yeah, Leve's.
All right, I got my album.
Okay.
Deep Purple Burn, 1974, Mark III, Deep
great-
Purple.
great
They're
pick.
talking Glenn Hughes, Dave Coverdale, John Lord, Richie Blackmore, and Ian Pace. Great album. Came in with Burn, came with such a great album. They headlined in California Jam in 1974. That was like the biggest concert since Woodstock up to that date. And all these other bands played, and they headlined it. And of course, Richie Blackmore was being a little baby, and he didn't want to go on until his night.
And real quick, John Lord did a classical kind of album. He's really big. He was really big into that. He did a classical album. I think it was 1969. This was with Deep Purple. This was just before In Rock.
Yeah, it was in between when they let the first singer go and the first bass player go.
Yes.
And there was an interview on that on YouTube. If you like Deep Purple, there's a lot of interviews about that. And Ian Gillan really didn't like that too much. He just like, we're Rob. And
I thought it was unique.
and Richie Blackmore was being a little baby about it too.
Well,
But Richie
of course.
Blackmore's a baby anyway. But
Yes,
you know what? He's that baby you have to put up with because he's so good.
because he's really good.
Yeah,
Exactly.
you just gotta put up with him.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right, it's 8 o'clock. I want to thank Ezekiel Lewis.
Yeah, thank you. Great.
Thank you so much.
You're
Thank
welcome
you.
to come back anytime you
Oh,
want.
I
Maybe
will
over
be.
the summer.
Yeah,
All right,
absolutely.
Sunday
Thank
morning
you so
we'll
much.
get you coffee. Coffee's on me. I'm the coffee guy.
Oh, thank you very much. I did appreciate it.
I said you got to bring him something. You know?
And thank you,
Never show
everyone.
and mums out there.
Yes.
My mom always
Yes.
said, never show up
Yes.
empty-handed. So
No.
don't. So if you
Exactly.
show up empty-handed, your mom says, "Oh, that's fine." She's like, "You shut up empty-handed." No, never show up empty-handed.
Happy Mother's Day,
Happy
everybody.
Mother's Day.
And we'll
Thank
be
you.
back next week with another edition of Middleboro Review. Eric Dunn in the studio once again. Should be a fiery program.
Fiery, yeah.
Fiery program
Yeah,
with
yeah.
some great sports involved. Some great sports topics.
You know what? I think that the Bruins will be winning. They have to go with a victory. And then you can have egg on your face.
You
I
know
can't
what?
wait. I'm
You
going to
know
call.
what? We'll
if that's
see.
the case, I'm going to call you and I'm going to
Okay.
harass you.
We're gonna see, Don.
Okay.
That's all I'm gonna say. We're gonna see. Okay, I'm not too enthused with the Bruins, but we'll see. Anyway, bye everybody. We'll be back next week for another edition of Middleboro in review, and I'll be back on Thursday for another edition of Middleboro Matters. Bye everybody.
Good interview.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you.
Very good interview questions. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no. Sometimes you don't know when you walk in.
Sometimes you don't know. Sometimes
Yeah,
you don't know.
you-
And like I had no idea how things were gonna shake out, or like
Well,
I,
you know-
but I didn't have any like preconceptions.
No, I mean you have to trust the people that interview
Yeah.
because
Yeah,
you can walk.
exactly.
You can walk into a buzzsaw.
Good.
You know what I mean?
Good.
And someone could be watching this and they're like, I don't like that. You know. I mean, I could-
Good morning,
I could
Paul.
call- we're all
Morning,
good.
Patrick.
We're all good.
Good all
Bye, everybody.
Yeah.